Mr. Boyce, or whoever's going to be watching this. This is my video about the person I chose to talk about, which is John Locke, aka the father of the Enlightenment. I'm sorry, let me just pull up the word. Okay, so John Locke, I'm sorry. Okay, so John Locke was a member of a moderate family when he grew up, and his father, who served in the military, who was killed in the battle of the Civil War, the English Civil War, and he went to and for high school he went to Westminster High School, or for primary school. Then he went to the Christ Church and later University of Oxford, where he studied medicine at Oxford, and this would play a central role in his life. He wrote on for his profession. He wrote on such topics as political philosophy, epistemology, and about education. John Locke went to a Catholic school and was part of the Calvinist Tertium group at birth, but later was converted into a Socinian Christology. Locke saw religion as a part of life, but not as a main influence of it, and Locke wanted religious freedom of religion, which wasn't granted at the time. He was a defendant of the claim that men are by nature free and equal against claims that God had made all people naturally subject to a monarch, and he defended it. And Locke's main profession was as he worked as a physician, and he worked on people of all ages and genders. Locke was known as being a founding father of the American Bill of Rights and the American principles. Locke was also very influential in the psychology field, but he was mainly known for the effect that he had on the Bill of Rights with I'm sorry, let me pull it up, I can't remember it. John Locke stated, "The duty of the government is to protect the natural rights of the people, which Locke believed to include life, liberty, and property." Okay, the reason I chose John Locke was before I was in this class, I took psychology, AP psychology, and so I heard about John Locke, and I had to study his ideals and his psychological beliefs, which was mainly the blank slate theory, which meant that when all babies were born, they were born with zero reflexes, zero information, no education. They didn't know how to do anything, which was later to be disproven because of the fact that babies have reflexes. They actually have reflexes, like the natural reflex to breastfeed and to hold their head above water, and their natural reflex to keep their head on their dominant side. So if they're right-handed, they would put their head on the right-hand side. And so when I heard about John Locke in history class, I thought, I know a little bit about him already. I might as well learn how he impacted on America. And that's mainly the reason why I chose him. And I didn't want to choose somebody like Thomas Jefferson or Washington, like everybody was going to choose. I learned a lot about the Enlightenment and the ideals that were brought to the table that weren't already common at the time. Like many of the ideals from the Enlightenment are commonplace today, and they seem to be basic principles, but back then they were pretty revolutionary. And so I think I learned a lot about coming through the criticism of people being very closed-minded about and being very against religious change. I select the sources that I use primarily by Googling questions and then looking through like maybe the first 2 pages and reading through maybe a few sources, seeing the general information that they had, and deciding which one had the most reoccurring information, which generally means that it's true, and which one seemed to be the most professionally written, higher standards, more reliable. Okay, and my experiences with these sources was pretty well. I wasn't just using Wikipedia, so I mean, it was a little bit harder, it took a little bit longer, but I mean, I got better sources. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.